Hello everybody, welcome to my first episode of Superluminal and how to use it. This is version 2.1.2b. It is currently February 2017 and I'm going to teach you how to use this. Before we begin, you're going to need three things. Of course, Superluminal, this is what we're using today. Slipstream Mod Manager, so you can place your newly created ship into the game and patch it in very easily. And of course you need the game itself, FTL Faster Than Light. It's about $10 on Steam. It's very easy to get. So, I'm assuming, before we begin, I'm assuming that you know at least a little bit about how to play the game, FTL Faster Than Light, because you're going to have a little bit of trouble making a ship when you don't understand the basic rules of the game, but it shouldn't be too hard. Now, what we're going to do is we have a blank canvas here. This is where you build your ship. This is where it begins. What we're going to do is we're going to load a new ship by going to File, Load, and then you can choose one of the ships. You can choose any ship, granted that you have it unlocked. I would go with the first ship that you get, which will be under, it will be named Hard. And it looks, once you click on it, you'll see it, and it's the Kestrel ship. Load that up, and then you can continue. Alright, now that we've loaded up the ship, this is in the game files, known as the Hard ship for some unusual reason, even though it is the Kestrel in the actual game. Now you see, the reason we load up a ship is because it's much easier for you and me to put it into the actual game, as opposed to making an entirely new slot for the ship to be in. We could just replace something like the Kestrel ship and get a new ship in its place, because it is much easier that way. Now, to begin, we're going to go to the camera icon and start pressing clear on everything here. Because what we want to do is we want to clear out our workspace. Now, we have the rest of the ship. As you can see, the ship is just sitting here. And if you pull it apart, you can actually see the ship is broken apart. These are gibs. Gibs are pieces of animated parts of the ship to give the illusion, once the ship is destroyed in the game, it gives the illusion that it has been destroyed, and these parts float in the endless space. And if you played the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When your ship blows up, your ship pulls apart like this, and in another part we'll show you how to make gibs. But for now, we're going to click on them, select them with the manipulation tool, which can also be opened with Q. Press Shift D on each one. Very easy to delete. Now, if you see here, these odd-looking things are actually gun placeholders for your weapon ship systems. So, these represent where your ship is going to appear, and the arrow represents where they're going to move when they're powered on. But we will go more in depth on weapons later on in the next part. For now, we just need to focus on here. Now, to begin, these are subsystems and systems. These are just about the bare bones of the game. You need these to cloak, shoot, heal, shield, and see, and move in the game. Different systems and subsystems represent different things, and they all have their own uses. But right now, we're just focusing on basic systems and subsystems, and we're going to teach you in this episode how to make rooms and how to assign them. So, to begin, we're going to clear out this area by clicking on each room and pressing Shift D. Same thing for the doors, which are orange blocks, as you can see right here, here, and here. These are doors. You can delete them with Shift D. Same thing for these rooms. Very easy to delete. However, you can highlight multiple at a time and delete them, but just for easier purposes, we're just going to show you how to do it very quickly, just by selecting each one to avoid mistakes or possibly crashing the software, because this is, while it is very good, it can be a bit unstable at times, and we wouldn't want to overload it. So what you're going to do is you're going to find just about any image that you please. So let's say you want to grab an image for your new ship to start your new ship. You go to the little camera icon. You see hull right here, how we cleared it out. Now that there's no hull, we can make space for one. So select browse, and assuming that you have a photo of your choosing, I'm going to use the Halo Reach Seraph for our little test here. Just click browse and select the photo that you want on your desktop, and it will appear in the game. So once you click browse and then go into system, you can find your photo. I have already found my photo, which is the Seraph. Now, if you want a photo like this without a white background, just use something like Krita, Photoshop, or Paint.net to use the Magic Wand tool or something very similar to it to remove its background so it looks like this, and there's no white or black or colored background that will obscure the look of the ship. Now that we have our blank ship here, we can start adding in rooms by going to this little tool here, this little wrench. We go to the square icon, which is actually the room icon, and you click and drag. And that's our first room. Right off the bat, we have a room. Now, we can actually make more by just doing this, clicking and dragging as you please. Here we go, making some rooms right here. Very simple, very easy. Now keep in mind the game can only handle 2x2 and 1x2 rooms, such as this, 1x2 and 2x2. It can't handle anything larger than that, otherwise it will make the game crash. So, we need to add some doors, so our crew members, once we add them in, which we will show in another episode, we need to make sure that they can move room to room. So these black walls make it so that enemies and crew members cannot pass. However, with these doors, people can walk through now, and rooms are all accessible. Now that we have our rooms and doors complete, we can simply go Assign, and then go to Systems or Subsystems, depending on what you're putting on. For me, I'm putting in Pilot, so go to Assign, Subsystems, Pilot. Now that we have the Pilot thing right here, we have a little bit of a problem though. Do you see how the console and keyboard is going over its territory into the other room? Well, that's an easy fix. Just go to Interior Image right here, go to Browse, go to Ship, Interior, and then select something. Any photo will do. For right now, I'm just going to leave it as is, and I will fix it later, because in order to do that, I will have to open up another window, and I'm not going to obscure the current space. But I'm sure you can figure it out. Just open Browse, Ship, Ship Interior, and then you'll find some things similar to this. Image/ship, interior, room, pilot. Select any of the things that are 1x2, or in this, or whatever case, to fit the room. Now, we're going to move on to the next room. We're going to assign this as, well, any system you would like. It doesn't really matter. As long as you have things like engines, pilot, and oxygen. Basic stuff like that. Like I said, I'm assuming that you know very basic things about the game FTL Faster Than Light, just so you can survive and have a sustainable ship. Next, we're just going to add in shields, and right here we're going to add in weapons, because every ship needs some weapons. And then we're going to possibly assign a medbay, because medbays are very useful. Now, do you see that strange little icon in between the doors here, the T shape of doors? That is actually a clone bay. Now, it's unfortunate, but there is actually a bug with this mod, this mod maker, where if you select a medbay, it also makes a clone bay adjacent to it. There's a very easy fix to this, and by the way, if you do not fix this, your game will crash. So, just go to medbay, unassign it, and then go to Assign, Systems, and then go to Clone Bay. See, now that the Clone Bay is here, you can go Clone Bay, and then unassign it, and then go back to Assign, Systems, Medbay. Now you see that the Clone Bay isn't here anymore? You just fixed it. Congratulations. Now, do you see this engine photo here? This PNG? Same thing for this console. Should be in here, but it's outstretching its reach. Same thing for the captain's room. Like I said, easy fix. Select the room, go to Browse, Ship, Interior, and then select any of the room engines.png, or you can use something else, but just to make it look like an engine room, you should probably use one of the room engine photos. It's very easy. Remember, Ship, Interior, and then there you go, and then you'll find all the photos. I will fix that later, but right here, right now, we're going to assign oxygen, because oxygen is very important, as you may know. And as you can see, the photo that was added with this just fits perfectly in the room, so we don't need to change that. I think we should have maybe a sensors subsystem, just so we can see the ship. Now it looks a bit like a mess, so I'm going to make a quick fix by going into Browse, Ship, Interior. So you click here, and then there will be a little prompt, and then you click Ship, Interior, and then you'll find some photos as examples. I'll do it right now. I'll fix it very quickly. Now you can see that the engines have been fixed, the photo, because I selected the room. And then I went to Browse, and then go to Database, and then I've told you before how to do it, so it's not that hard. You'll be able to figure it out. Now, next thing, just to make our ship a little better, is do you see these ghostly pink blocks around each room? These actually represent where your crew members will stand when they're in the room, and they will be typing on the console. So, if you can see here, it's not going to look quite right because the crew member will be facing at the door, typing at the door. That's not the best. So an easy fix is go to the little layout creation tool, which can be selected with W, and then go to station placement. Simply just click right there. That should fix it. Same thing for here. You can place it over here or over here. And I'm going to place it right here. Okay. And then you see it's right here. You don't want that to be there. You want it to be over here. So it gives the illusion that your crew member is sitting in this chair here, typing on the console. Now that we're done, this is the first part. I recommend you save your work as you go using file save, and make sure to save it as multiple different versions because sometimes it may corrupt, delete, or just be lost. This is this is slightly unstable software, so I do recommend you make multiple copies and multiple saves as you go. Maybe even put once you have once you have Slipstream Mod Manager, I recommend you place your .ftl. You can make, by going into File and then Save Ship As, you can save it as a .ftl file, and then place it in the Slipstream Mod Manager file once you find it, where you place your mods, because it will keep it safe in there, and then you can just open it up at any time and continue your work. Thanks for watching, and this was my first part of showing systems, subsystems, rooms, and how to get your ship designed.